Okay, let's start with something really stark. Picture this. After 9/11, a makeshift mortuary, right? 8 refrigerated tractor trailers parked somewhere. And inside, 11,000 unidentified body parts, each one tagged with a DM number, hoping someday for a DNA match.
It's an incredibly grim image.
Yeah.
Really brings home the scale of it.
Exactly. And then you hear about Fire Marshal Lou Garcia. He knew 343 FDNY members who died that day, personally knew them. Peter Lance asked him if he'd been able to grieve, and his answer was just haunting. He said, no, not really, not yet, I just keep working.
Wow. That raw emotion, that weight, that's really where this story lives, isn't it? Beyond the headline.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into a story that's, frankly, unnerving, but so vital. It's from Peter Lance's book, 1,000 Years for Revenge.
And it's not just history. It's this intense narrative about terrorism, sure, but also about these huge intelligence failures, warnings that just weren't heard, warnings that might have changed everything for 1993 and for 9/11.
Yeah, it might have prevented some of the worst attacks we've seen.
And what makes this deep dive possible is Lance's reporting. Uses interviews, classified documents, court records. It's incredibly detailed.
Right. It shows the flaws, the problems within the FBI and other agencies, but also, the heroic people trying to do the right thing against the odds.
Absolutely. Some real unsung heroes in this story.
So our mission today, really, is to sift through all this dense material and pull out the absolute core insights, the nuggets. We want you to understand not just what happened, but the why. Why were opportunities missed? What was the human cost?
It's about giving you that deeper understanding, that shortcut to being genuinely informed on something incredibly complex and, let's face it, still relevant.
Definitely. Okay, let's dive in. Where do the first threads appear?
Well, the seeds of this were planted way earlier than you might think, years before the 93 bombing. And intelligence agencies, they were actually watching some of it.
Yeah, between like 89 and 91, the FBI was surveilling these groups linked to the Al Farouk Mosque that were training out on Long Island, small arms, grenades at a shooting range, right? But here's the really wild part. One of the guys training them was Ali Mohammed, ex-Egyptian army.
And also, get this, a CIA contractor with a secret clearance.
Yeah.
While training future terrorists. It's mind-boggling.
It really is. And who was he training?
Yeah.
Not just anybody.
No. Mahmoud Abu Halima, the Red,
Man.
Mohammed Salameh, El Said Noser, Nedal Ayad, Clement, Rodney Hampton L. These are the names, the guys who actually carried out the 93 bombing and their close associates.
The connections were right there, forming, being observed.
And then came the violence, the first big act on U.S. soil tied to this network.
November 1990, Rabbi Meir Kahan assassinated by El Said Noser.
Right, and what's just staggering is the initial NYPD response.
Yeah.
They pushed this lone gunman idea.
Even though the evidence...
Exactly. They searched Noser's place, found 47 boxes of stuff. Not junk, writings calling for attacks on high world buildings in New York, bomb recipes, target maps, including the World Trade Center specifically.
47 boxes, so case closed, they knew.
You'd think, but no. Allegedly, because of a shortage of FBI translators, this gold mine of intelligence, this blueprint, wasn't really understood until after the 1993 bombing.
After. Unbelievable.
The irony is just painful. Noser and Rabbi Kahan ended up in adjacent ER cubicles at Bellevue. Same hospital where Fire Marshal Ronnie Bucca had been treated years before. It's like these little threads connecting future tragedies.
And the misses kept coming. March 91, Mustafa Shalabi is murdered. Brutally. He'd raised money for jihad.
And who identifies the body? Mahmoud Abu Halima, the Red. The guy for the training, remember?
Right.
He's a prime suspect, no forced entry at Shalabi's place.
Right.
They found 2 red hairs matching Abu Halima's in Shalabi's hand.
And they let him go?
They let him go. Another dot just floating there,
right.
Unconnected.
It's maddening. And there's another strange thread inside the FDNY.
Yeah, this Egyptian accountant, Ahmed Amin Rafay, worked for the FDNY. But he was connected to Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman, the blind sheikh.
The spiritual leader figure?
Right. And Rafay, during some office renovations in 92, gets his hands on blueprints for the World Trade Center. This guy was basically a ghost employee, calling in sick all the time, late, spending his time at the mosques. Seems minor maybe, but looking back...
Incredibly significant. Blueprints. Okay, so warning signs are piling up. Alarms should be going off everywhere, right? And in one specific way, they were. The FBI had someone inside.
They did. Imad Salem, an Egyptian undercover asset.
Yeah.
And he was deep inside Sheikh Rahman's cell, providing really critical intel.
What kind of intel?
Plans to bomb like a dozen Jewish sites in New York. And they actually asked him to help build the bombs. I mean, this is actionable stuff. Gold.
Wow. Okay. So who was handling him?
Special Agent Nancy Floyd. She was technically in Russian counterintelligence, but she was the one debriefing Salem, often without a wire. The book paints her as just this really dedicated, hardworking agent. She recruited Salem, believed him, stuck with him.
Sounds like exactly who you'd want on the case.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
But then, bureaucracy, politics. Yeah. Her bosses, Carson Dunbar, the ASE, and supervisor John Cruthamel, who apparently had zero terrorism experience, they didn't trust Salem, partly because of an inconclusive polygraph, which the FBI often just treats as a fail, you know.
Right, the polygraph issue.
And Cruthamel reportedly called Floyd a bitch, tried to push her off the case. It shows how internal dynamics, personalities, biases, they can just totally derail crucial work.
That's infuriating. So what happened with Salem?
Well, Dunbar insisted Salem wear a wire and agree to testify. Salem refused, said it would blow his cover, put his life in danger, which it absolutely would have.
Makes sense.
But the Bureau wouldn't budge. So effectively, they just cut Salem loose. Dropped him.
Just like that, their inside source on an active bomb plot.
Gone. The FBI was left flying blind, as Lance puts it, despite everything Salem told them. And to make matters even worse, another agent who really understood Salem's value, John Andesev, suffered a brain embolism right at this critical time. Just perfect storm of failure. Management, policy, bad luck.
Okay, so the FBI's crucial informant is gone. The warnings from No Serious Apartment weren't fully translated. What happens next?
September 1992. Ramzi Yousef arrives at JFK, the bomb maker. The evil genius, they call him.
And he gets through.
Gets through. He has fake passports, bomb manuals in his luggage. But the INS agent lets him go because the detention center at Varick Street was full. No more room.
You're cheating!
Nope. The agent apparently even had a bad feeling, said, this guy's dirty. But policy is policy, or lack of space is lack of space. Another huge miss right at the gate.
Unbelievable. Meanwhile, someone else is connecting dots, right? Ronnie Bucca.
Yes, Fire Marshal Ronnie Bucca. Army Reserve intelligence background, top secret clearance. He gets intel around August 92 about the Blind Sheik cell plotting against major targets. He even hears the FBI has a source in the cell, which would have been Salem. Bucca feels it, something's going down in the city.
His gut feeling was right.
Tragically right. February 26th, 1993. Yousef, Abu Halima, Salameh, Ismail. They drive that Ryder truck packed with a 1,500-pound bomb into the World Trade Center garage.
Their goal was catastrophic.
Absolutely. They wanted Tower 1 to collapse onto Tower 2. Yousef even later said he regretted not adding cyanide gas.
Just horrific, and the explosion.
12:15 p.m. blows this massive 4-story crater B2 level down to B4. The devastation was immense.
And the human cost.
Immediate. Monica Smith, 35 years old, 7 months pregnant, working down on B2, killed instantly, along with her unborn baby, Eddie Jr., her husband's frantic calls. It just highlights the real personal tragedy behind the headlines. 6 people died that day, 1,000 injured, $500 million in damage.
And the investigation, how did they figure out it was the Ryder van?
Amazing work by Fire Marshal Phil Meager. He analyzed a bent steel I-beam, used the column numbers, and pinpointed the blast right where that Ryder van was parked. Meticulous stuff.
But finding who rented the van, that was almost accidental.
Kind of darkly comical, yeah. Mohammed Salameh, one of the bombers, keeps calling Ryder trying to get his $400 deposit back for the van he reported stolen.
Seriously?
Seriously. That led investigators to find a piece of the van's frame with the VIN number, the C-VIN, still on it. Traced it right back to Salameh.
So sheer incompetence led them to him.
Well, Lance suggests maybe not entirely. It might have been a deliberate sideshow by Yousef.
Yeah.
Used the less sophisticated guys like Salameh to draw the attention while the mastermind slips away.
Makes sense. Did anyone else slip away?
Yes. Abdul Rahman Yassin. He helped teach Salameh to drive the van. He gets arrested in a raid on Salameh's apartment, but the FBI's Newark office lets him go. He claimed he was innocent, even offered to lead them to Yousef's bomb factory.
And they didn't take him up on it. Why not?
Seems like jurisdictional issues. New York boundaries, the book says. Newark didn't follow up immediately in Queens. Yassin walked out, fled the country, and ended up on the most wanted list. Another one gone.
This pattern is just stunning. So after the bombing, what about Imad Salem, the informant they cut loose?
Oh, suddenly everyone remembered him.
Yeah.
The U.S. attorney, Mary Jo White, demanded he be brought back immediately. They rehired him, paid him $1.5 million.
Vindication, I guess.
A very expensive and tragic vindication. When they drove him past the damaged towers, he apparently just exploded. I told you, World Trade Center, Empire State Building, Grand Central. You forgot. A detective initially denied Salem warned about the WTC specifically, but Salem was absolutely proven right. Too late.
So Salem is vindicated, but the damage is done. But for Ronnie Bucca, the fire marshal, this wasn't the end of the story, was it?
Not at all. For Bucca, the 93 bombing confirmed his worst fears, but it also fueled his determination. He was, pumped by the arrests, but so frustrated being on the outside.
He wanted in on the counterterrorism fight directly.
Desperately, he applied to the NYPD FBI Joint Terrorist Task Force, highlighted his military intel background, his top-secret clearance, his special forces experience.
Sounds like a perfect candidate.
You'd think so. Rejected. A colleague basically told him, they don't care you're a marshal. To them, you're just a fireman. It's that institutional blindness again, right?
Yeah.
Not valuing expertise if it doesn't come through the standard channels.
So frustrating. And Bucca felt Yousef wasn't done?
He was convinced of it, especially after Yousef was finally captured. Remember that chilling quote when they flew him over Manhattan and showed him the tower still standing?
Not yet.
Not yet. That, plus a letter from Yousef that Bucca found, which said, basically, our calculations weren't right this time, but next time we'll be precise and the trade center will be a target. Bucca knew they'd try again.
And he kept digging, didn't he? Back to that FDNY accountant.
Yes, Ahmed Amin Rafay. In 1999, Bucca does this deep dive investigation into him. The guy linked to the Sheik, the guy who got the WTC blueprints, the ghost employee who lied about everything. Bucca puts it all together, takes it to the FBI. He thinks, okay, here it is. Another Egyptian close to the Sheik inside the FDNY.
And the FBI.
Dismissed it. Said it was unrelated, just about money. They even ended Bucca's temporary detail to the terrorism watch because of budget cuts. Sent him back to investigating regular fires.
That's crushing.
You can feel his frustration in the quote Lance includes. Eve, he says to his wife, I don't know what else I can do. I mean, this is the FBI. If they don't get something like this, who will? It's heartbreaking. He saw it coming.
Meanwhile, Ramzi Yousef, before his capture, he wasn't idle, was he? The Bojinka plot?
No, he was orchestrating pure terror from the Philippines. The Bojinka plot was huge. Plan A, assassinate the Pope during his visit to Manila. Plan B, simultaneously blow up 11 U.S. jumbo jets over the Pacific using these tiny undetectable liquid bombs triggered by Casio watch timers.
Yeah.
Placed right over the fuel tanks.
Just diabolical. And there was a plan C.
There was. And this is the direct precursor to 9/11. Yousef's friend, Abdul Hakim Murad, had spent time back in 91, 92 getting extensive flight training. 4 different U.S. flight schools. Specifically to hijack commercial airliners and fly them into buildings in America. Targets mentioned included the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. The plane as a weapon idea. It was right there, part of their plan.
How did this plot get uncovered?
Almost by accident. A chemical fire in Yousef's Manila apartment, his makeshift bomb factory, in January 95. A sharp police captain, Aida Fariscal, responded. She found Yousef's laptop.
And on the laptop,
The whole Bojinka plot. Plans A, B, and C. The plane's missile concept. Murad was arrested there too, tried to bribe the captain, made a run for it. Yousef escaped initially, but was caught a month later in Pakistan.
how was Yousef caught?
Became the world's most wanted. Big bounty. It was actually the State Department's Diplomatic Security Service agents, the DSS, led by a guy named Brad Smith, who was battling Lou Gehrig's disease, who got him. They got a tip from an informant, Stick Parker. Incredible work by DSS.
So they have Yousef, they have Murad, they have the laptop detailing the plane as weapon plot. What did U.S. intelligence learn?
Well, here's another critical failure point. During Murad's rendition flight back to the U.S., he confessed the details of that third plot, the plane as missile part, to a Philippine police colonel, Rodolfo Mendoza. Specifically mentioned pilot trainings going on in the U.S.
Okay, so the FBI knew.
The information was there. But Peter Lance points out that the FBI's official report, the 302, from Yousef's interrogation, it omitted any mention of this broader third plot or Murad's U.S. flight training. It focused almost entirely on the bombs on board part of Bojinka.
They missed the plane as weapon angle or downplayed it?
Seems like it. Whether it was filtering, focusing on the immediate bomb threat, or just not connecting the dots, that crucial piece of intelligence about using planes as missiles, learned in 1995, seems to have gotten lost in the shuffle. Huge blind spot.
So this pattern just keeps repeating. Missed connections, ignored warnings, information getting lost or compartmentalized.
Right. Lance calls it the stupid ongoing dogfight among the agencies. Information wasn't shared effectively. Rivalries got in the way. The CIA sometimes treated FBI agents like local cops, just like the FBI had dismissed Fire Marshal Bucca. It's the same problem at different levels.
And this environment led directly to more failures as 9/11 approached.
Absolutely. Take the Phoenix memo, July 2001, just weeks before the attacks.
What was that?
An FBI agent in Phoenix, Ken Williams, sends this detailed memo to headquarters and the New York office. He's noticed suspicious Middle Eastern men taking flight lessons, urges surveillance of flight schools. It was, as Lance puts it, a virtual blueprint for the 9/11 plot.
And it was ignored.
Ignored.
Yeah.
Filed away. Unbelievable.
And then there was Moussaoui.
Zacharias Moussaoui, August 2001. Arrested in Minnesota on visa violations. Why? Because flight instructors there got suspicious. He wanted to learn to fly a 747 but didn't care about taking off at landing and asked weird questions about its potential for damage.
Okay, huge red flag.
Massive. The Minneapolis FBI agents explicitly warned headquarters. They said he might be part of a larger plot, might even intend to fly it into the World Trade Center.
They said that, the World Trade Center.
Specifically mentioned it. And headquarters, they basically told Minneapolis to cool it, complained they were getting people spun up, unnecessarily worried. They actively blocked Minneapolis from getting a warrant to search his laptop.
Deliberately blocked it while the plotters were in the final stages.
Exactly. It's just devastating to read.
And then September 11th, 2001, and Ronnie Bucca.
Ronnie Bucca, the man who saw it coming, who tried so hard to warn everyone. He responded immediately, of course. He raced into the South Tower, made it up to the 78th floor, higher than any other firefighter managed that day. He was fighting the fire, covering victims with his own coat, and then the tower collapsed.
Killed doing exactly what he tried to prevent, after all those years of warnings being ignored.
It's the ultimate tragic irony. His foresight, his dedication, it couldn't overcome the system's failures.
After 9/11, was there real accountability for these failures?
Well, there were attempts. The Joint Senate-House Committee investigated, but their report was heavily redacted, limited in scope. Senator Richard Shelby criticized it, saying it stopped far short of assessing blame or accountability.
So fingers weren't really pointed.
Not strongly, not officially in that report.
Yeah.
And initially, FBI Director Robert Mueller claimed the hijackers left no paper trail, that they hadn't found a single piece of paper mentioning the plot beforehand.
Which wasn't true, based on what we've discussed.
Right, and that narrative got blown up by Colleen Rowley.
The whistleblower from Minneapolis.
Exactly, an FBI lawyer there. She wrote this incredibly powerful 13-page letter to Mueller, accusing headquarters of shading facts, of deliberately sabotaging the Moussaoui investigation. She laid it bare, became one of Time's Persons of the Year for it.
Her courage really brought the internal problems to light.
It did. But it also highlighted how deep the issues ran. Lance points out that even back in 1998, senior officials like Assistant FBI Director Dale Watson were publicly downplaying the al-Qaeda threat inside the U.S., even while the New York office's counterterrorism unit was critically understaffed. There was this consistent underestimation.
So wrapping this up, we've walked through, just layer after layer of missed signals, ignored warnings, bureaucratic roadblocks.
Yeah, and the incredible foresight of people like Ronnie Bucca, like Nancy Floyd, whose instincts and hard work just weren't enough to overcome the system.
The whole story of Yousef, the 93 bombing, Bojinka leading up to 9/11, it really is, like Lance argues, a story of dots that were there but just weren't connected.
And the cost of not connecting them was just immense, unimaginable.
It brings to mind that old Roman question, right? Juvenal asked, quis custodia ipsos custodes? Who guards the guardians?
Exactly. Who watches the watchers? How do these huge agencies learn? How do they make sure they're listening to the right people, sharing information, overcoming those internal barriers that prove so fatal? It's not just about gathering intel, it's using it effectively.
The book concludes the FBI really needed a fundamental shift, from just solving crimes after they happen to actively preventing them, treating terrorism as a unified threat, not just separate cases.
A crucial distinction.
So the final thought for you, the listener, is this. How much has really changed? Are those dots easier to connect now? In a world with constantly shifting threats, are the guardians better guarded? Are we truly ready institutionally, culturally, for the next potential Black Tuesday, whenever and wherever it might appear?
It's the question that lingers, isn't it? We have the history, we've seen the failures. The challenge is ensuring those lessons are truly learned.